A very good evening to you all. Welcome to Rwanda Television News in English. We'll begin with the headlines. Teenage mothers in Rwanda district have highlighted that early pregnancy and after effect of it, like dropping out of school, remain key among the factors hindering their development. A recent study by experts from the Rwanda Union of the Blind highlights a concerning statistics that only about 20% of visually impaired individuals in Rwanda are proficient in using technology, including mobile phones and computers. On the international scene, children in the Gaza Strip make up half of the population, or over 1 million people. My name is Olivnet and it's always a pleasure to have you with us. Now let's take a closer look at the news. On Saturday, youths all over the country participated in the special Umuganda community work activity focused at planting trees as a way of conserving and protecting our environment. Under the campaign, Igiti Chanje, Kigali City has a target of planting over 3 million trees. William Evans kicks us off tonight.
This special Umuganda in Kigali brought together youths and other people to plant trees in a move to protect our environment. Some of the participants acknowledged that young people usually shun away from such activities, but it's about time this is changed. The reason I am here is to make my contribution as a young person. Usually, it's not the trend for youths to participate in such activities, but I am here to demonstrate a good example to the rest of the youths and fellows so that they might acknowledge that our contribution is also crucial in the development of our country. Our country is what we see today because of the great sacrifice made by our leaders when they were of our age. We therefore must be strong pillars of our country's development. We should not be onlookers or consider communal work as something for other people, not us, because it's equally our concern. Young people also have a contribution towards our country's development. Youths can participate in general cleaning or plant trees, and this is of great good to the nation as a whole. District Executive Administrator of Chichochiro told us that this activity is a collaborative initiative with the city of Kigali and citizens with a goal to plant more trees along the main roads. This initiative is under Igiti Chanje campaign. We participated in special Umuganda activities as a district in collaboration with the city of Kigali under Igiti Chanje campaign. It's also an awareness campaign to encourage our citizens to plant at least 3 trees each. We have a target of planting over 3 million trees in the city of Kigali starting today, but also to remind citizens of their contribution towards this purpose. What we are asking them to do is to protect the trees we've planted, but even for those that will die in the long run, they should share information so we can replace them. Under this campaign, the city of Kigali has a target of planting over 3 million trees. William Evans, Mtabazi, RTV News.
Thank you, William Evans, for the details. Now, moving ahead, teenage mothers in Rwanda district have highlighted that early pregnancy and the after effects of it, like dropping out of school, remain key among the factors hindering their development. These have asked for special support for young girls in this category. William Evans once more.
Teenage mothers oftentimes confront the dual challenges of pregnancies and dropping out of school, casting a shadow on their future development. Wama Horoli Divine and Umuhoza Fiona recently shared their experiences. They highlight that becoming pregnant at a young age not only disrupts one's education, but also could pose far-reaching consequences on their personal and professional growth. When you give birth at a young age, the society or even your people condemn you, and everything around you changes significantly. In the past, I would just sit home and wasn't able to even buy myself anything or support myself financially at all. I am so grateful to FXB because they taught us vocational skills and about reproductive health. Now, I'm able to take care of myself because I make money from my makeup business. The future is bright now. Like I told you, I produced at a very young age, and life was hard before FXB came through with support and the vocational trainings. I now run a hairdressing business and also train other young people. We are on a transformative journey of development as we speak. During the National Day of Girl Child celebrations, Igire Turengere Abana program's leadership emphasized the relevance of supporting early mothers to realize their dreams. Putting effort in supporting these young mothers is our responsibility because they are citizens of this country too, and everything they do also contributes to the country's development. That is why I call upon all of us to support the girl child. A girl child is a good teacher, a mother of nations, and they need to be supported wherever they are in the world. Rwanda district officials said that aside from the campaign held for the International Day of the Girl Child, they have other initiatives being implemented as part of their child protection programs. Firstly, we encourage girls to fight for their space, to respect and value themselves. From our end, all leaders are encouraged to follow up on the life of girl children, especially from the family and societal level. We also encourage our partners to emphasize equality between boys and girls. As of now, this initiative is assisting 36,000 children in 2 districts with support from USAID, providing them with education and resources to help them prevent the transmission of the HIV/AIDS virus, safeguard against unplanned pregnancies, and support their academic pursuits and entrepreneurial skills for personal development. William Evans, Mutawazi, RTV News.
Thank you, Evans, for the details. Now, moving ahead, in Musanze District, cooperative members marked the 19th International Day of Cooperatives, emphasizing how their collective efforts have significantly contributed to the country's development. And Nora Gladys takes us through.
This celebration began with a march that started in Musanze town, heading to Ubworoherane Stadium, where the celebration was held and the exhibition of Rwanda cooperatives involving different activities done in those cooperatives such as construction, agriculture, transport activities that contributes to the country's development and food security in the country. Arakunda Kawa Rushashi, a coffee farming cooperative that has been operating for 25 years in Gakenke district, they operate this farming on a land of 184 hectares that made them reach a profit of 860 million for now. So far, they have 2,111 members, including Jacqueline Nyirandimubanzi, who emphasizes that this cooperative helped her to combine her career of education and farming, which support her to develop her family. When I'm teaching, I don't focus enough on coffee farming activities, but because I work together with others, a lot of amount I bring to my family comes from coffee farming. For now, we have 1,449 trees, and one tree has 5 kilograms, so you can understand the profit I get from this. Currently, there is 100 cooperatives that do rice farming, providing the output of 100,000 tons per year. The leader of these cooperatives, Gwamwaga Jean Damascene, points out that they have a goal of increasing the rice output per hectare.
So far, we're making an output of 5 tons per hectare, but in our goals together with advice from experts, we want to at least make 7 tons per hectare. It means when the output is available, all the problems are solved because we are making enough profits.
Mugabo Wagahunde Morris, the governor of Northern Province, points out that the role of these cooperatives in the development of people is very relevant.
Clip 2. Cooperative members are the first to participate in all government activities such as saving in Ejo Heza, health insurances, and getting school supplies is even easy for them. And also, they participate in promoting Made in Rwanda.
The Director General of Rwanda Cooperative Agency, Dr. Patrice Mugenzi, pointed out that the new direction of cooperatives is to apply technology.
Gukora kinyamwuga dushaka kuvuga nuko tuzakorana tuzagenda naho isi igeze.
We want to work professionally by involving technology in what we do, such as using cashless systems and recording cooperative activities so that we have professional workers for cooperatives to be able to control and help them to develop.
In Rwanda, so far, there is about 10,000 cooperatives having more than 5 million members. These cooperatives have a budget of more than 74 billion Rwandan francs. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Nora, for the details. Now, 76 officers from the Rwanda Defense Force, Rwanda National Police, and Rwanda Correctional Services have completed a 5-month junior command and staff course at the RDF Command and Staff College in Nyakinama, Musanze District. The graduates include 72 from the Rwanda Defense Force, 2 from the Rwanda National Police, and 2 from the Rwanda Correctional Services. Speaking at the pass-out ceremony, Chief of Defense Staff General Mubarak Muganga congratulated the graduates on their achievement and emphasized that the RDF's education and training programs are vital in service development and maintaining a high level of professionalism.
Has clearly articulated the importance of the RDF in shaping our national identity and driving transformation. I want to reiterate this message specifically to the graduates. As you make your way out of this institution, you have huge roles to play in the way our country will transform in the years ahead. You must realize that you have to contribute meaningfully to the good side in the clash of ideas that define the world today. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Commander-in-Chief, has consistently emphasized on rigorous training, which is crucial for preparing individuals to effectively defend national interests and face challenges. The Commander-in-Chief has stated that such a training not only enhances military capabilities, but also fosters the leadership qualities necessary for contributing to the nation's broader aspirations. Graduates, you should be aware that their roles are pivotal in promoting positive change and upholding the values of patriotism, integrity, and committing that commitment as they navigate complex global dynamics.
Awards were presented to graduates who excelled in various aspects of the course. Captain Michael Nsengiyumva was recognized as the overall best student, while Major Vedast Masabo received the award for the best college research paper. The pass-out ceremony was attended by generals and senior officers from the RDF and police, as well as the graduates' families, friends, religious leaders, and local authorities from the northern province. To other matters, a recent study by experts from the Rwanda Union of the Blind highlights a concerning statistic that only about 20% of visually impaired individuals in Rwanda are proficient in using technology, including mobile phones and computers. Leaders and members of the Association for the Visually Impaired in Rwanda expressed deep concern about being left behind in a rapidly advancing digital world, with most services and activities in the country increasingly shifting online. They worry that their members, many of whom still struggle to navigate these technological tools, will face significant barriers. Ikuze Calixte, a visually impaired researcher and expert in assistive technology, shares his personal challenges.
The only matter was the choice of taking some subjects were not possible, as the university were thinking that persons with visual impairment cannot study ICT. So they therefore kind of refused me to take ICT. But I cannot kind of blame them, because that time, people were thinking that we have limited choices. We can either study only social sciences, not ICT. That's why it happened to me that I was forced to choose my second option, not first option, because just university were thinking that I could not take ICT because I am visually impaired.
Dr. Beth Nasifor Mukarwego, chairperson of the National Union of Disability Organizations in Rwanda, highlights that their greatest challenge is the high cost of assistive technology for people with disabilities.
Quite a big number of them did not have idea of the technology, the use of technology. For those who had the idea, they had a bit of knowledge on how to use the technology, such as the smartphones. And then there are those who already know how to use the smartphone and also the laptop, especially those who have gone through their education. So it was discovered that those who have no idea of the technology, assistive technology, were very many. So even those who know how to use the technology, there are many challenges that they are going through. Some of them can operate their machines or their smartphones, but there are activities they cannot be able to perform independently. There are some of the activities that they will require someone to assist them, or do it halfway, and then the other half they will need an assistant because they cannot do it. Sometimes even the software itself, there are places that you can reach and they cannot be able to read. Like when you have a document in PDF, sometimes for my own smartphone, unless I download the PDF and pay for it, it cannot be able to read for me some of the documents that I want read. So this means that if it cannot read that document, I have to look for someone to read the document for me, and sometimes the reading of that person needs to be paid. So for people who are blind, most of them are poor, not exactly being poor, but they are financially weak and they cannot be able to pay for these services. So the technology has some services that are not disability friendly for people who are blind, and therefore maybe they need to be modified. And then the researcher also discovered that the technology is very expensive. It's not affordable to persons who are blind. So the reason of this research was to find out what can we do to assist persons with visual impairment to be able to access technology, assistive technology, independently without depending on other people, because even depending on other people are services that they cannot afford.
Currently, there are more than 3,000 visually impaired people in Rwanda, and of these, 60% report being able to use technological devices, primarily basic mobile phones, while 20% are proficient in using smartphones and computers. The remaining 20% are unable to use these devices at all. Now to health matters. Earlier today we spoke with a sexual reproductive health and rights specialist discussing how technology and innovation are unlocking new opportunities to advance sexual reproductive health services. Take a look. Welcome to today's health segment, where we will explore the opportunity that exists in using technology and innovation to advance sexual and reproductive health. Joining me today is Annette Mizerwa, a sexual reproductive and health and rights specialist. Welcome to Rwanda Television.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll start by asking you, are there any existing opportunities that exist in using technology and innovation to advancing sexual reproductive health?
Yeah, there definitely are opportunities. There are opportunities to tap into when it comes to using technology to solve or to advance sexual and reproductive health and rights. And I would say that we must admit that today digital technologies are being used in our day-to-day lives, and they are more essential than they have ever been. And the world is also connected than it has ever been because of the same. So that same point gives us a clue or or an idea that actually there is an opportunity to use in delivering sexual and reproductive health information and services. And some of the things that I could say are the available opportunities to tap into in using technology to advance sexual and reproductive health. Let's say platforms that ensure access to timely and accurate information to SRH, related to sexual and reproductive SRH services. So I would say access to information that is through, let's say, websites, mobile apps, but also not only that. When it comes to services, I will talk about, for example, telemedicine. Tapping into opportunities that allow telemedicine to be practiced, and this is, for example, allowing people, the rural communities, to access services remotely. I'd give an example of, let's say, a pregnant mother being able to consult, have antenatal care digitally, so remotely, I would say remotely, and without having to travel to the nearest health center, is one of the things that we can tap into. Telemedicine, one of the things that we can tap into to quicken the services that we deliver in terms of sexual and reproductive health. The other thing, of course, is data collection and analysis. Very, very important, because timely data is very important in policy and decision making, So I would say that the more you use technology to collect and analyze data, of course, related to sexual and reproductive health, and the quicker you get the results. And the quicker you get the results, the easier it gets to get informed on what decisions should be taken policy-wise. So also that is an existing opportunity to tap into using technology. There are quite many, but those are a few examples I can mention right now.
Some of the opportunities that you mentioned include websites and mobile health apps that are becoming popular on a daily basis. And these include those that talk about reproductive health, be it tracking, but also educating people. How effective are these apps in providing accurate and accessible SRHR information?
Yeah, that's a good question, because one of the challenges that we face on a daily is false information that is being put on these websites. But I have to re-echo the fact that these websites, mobile apps, are actually being used by people, by individuals. So the more we train people that are using these apps and websites about sexual and reproductive health, the more accurate the information. So I would say there is need, of course, to be sure of what platforms you're using or what apps you're using, to be sure of how valid is it, how valid is the app that I'm using, how accurate is it. But I would say that generally speaking, many apps out here, especially international applications, even like homegrown solutions that we have, some of them actually are being run by people that have received trainings and education in sexual and reproductive health. So I would emphasize that the accuracy of what we find in mobile apps and websites is very dependent on the individuals and their accessibility to information and information specifically on sexual and reproductive health, and education, of course. So I think the question of accuracy should be more on, are we being able to educate the people running these mobile apps? Are we being able to teach the people running these websites? Otherwise, the question of accuracy is not on the tool itself, it's not on the platform itself, it's on the people running these platforms. Yeah.
Coming to an end of our discussion, what are some of the biggest challenges? You mentioned one of them being false information that can be put on these websites and mobile apps. But what are some of the biggest challenges in scaling digital health technologies, and how can we overcome these challenges?
One of the biggest challenges, especially, for example, in this context of Rwanda, is how many people have access to these technologies, digital technologies. The limited number of people that have access to digital technologies limits innovation, because if you are not providing a solution to the bigger population, then you get discouraged. But the more we try, for example, different initiatives that the government of Rwanda has put in place to make sure that people actually have digital literacy and are able to access digital technologies, is very instrumental in ensuring that the challenges are countered. So I would say that one of the challenges, of course, is accessibility. How many people access these digital technologies, but also another challenge is the misuse of these platforms. You must have heard about technology-facilitated gender-based violence. a lot of people out here are using the same technology to actually commit crimes against humanity and human rights. So I would say that another challenge that is really significant, especially in this era, is the misuse of these platforms that has continued to be there. And how to curb that is we make sure that we create awareness. Massive awareness and investment in technology. We need to invest in technology to make sure that everyone has access everywhere and they are able to use the services that are available to them remotely. And also create awareness, put laws in place and policies that govern the use of these tools to limit such crimes like tech-facilitated GBV.
Annette Mnizirwa, thank you for speaking to Rwanda Television.
Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome back, and now we are going forward with international news. Children in the Gaza Strip make up half the population, or over 1 million people, since the war began in October last year. They have been witnessing what no child should live through. They were forced to flee their homes and have lost loved ones. We have the details. Garcia of CCTV.
In Deir al-Bala, a neighborhood in the Gaza Strip, a group of children sit on tent tarps in neat rows. Using limited supplies, they draw and listen, immersed in their assignment. The makeshift school is part of the Back to Learning initiative launched by the UN Palestine Refugee Agency, the UNRWA. The two-phase program aims to restart learning activities for the more than 600,000 children in the Gaza Strip who've been out of school since the start of the Israel-Hamas war 1 year ago. The first phase of the project will focus on psychosocial activities like arts and crafts, music, and sports, and the second phase on subjects like reading, writing, and math. But the reality of war is also incorporated into the lessons, with children learning practical information, like what to do if you spot an unexploded ordnance. The program is welcomed by students and parents, but is in no way sufficient in the long term.
I've learned a lot, especially the knowledge I had learned before but had forgotten. Now we're reviewing it again in school. We've also learned a lot of useful knowledge.
Thanks to the UN for this project. It allows our children to continue their study. But the reality is cruel, especially for me and other displaced people. The future of children is full of uncertainty.
The UNRWA says the Back to Learning program has started with 45 schools and hopes to expand to 94 going forward. According to the Palestinian Ministry of Education, around 90% of Gaza's 307 government school buildings have been destroyed in the war.
And the story brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin, but before we leave, a reminder of our top stories. Teenage mothers in Rwanda district have highlighted that early pregnancy and the after effects of it, like dropping out of school, remain key among the factors hindering their development. A recent study by experts from the Rwanda Union of the Blind highlights a concerning statistic that only about 20% of visually impaired individuals in Rwanda are proficient in using technology, including mobile phones and computers. On the international scene, children in the Gaza Strip make up half the population, or over 1 million people. And this marks the end of tonight's bulletin. Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. On behalf of the technical and news production team, we sincerely thank you for being with us and wish you a restful weekend. Until next time, goodbye.